Good morning, Pastor Steve, First Lady Denise, Revival Time, friends and family. My name is Serenity Figueroa. I have a dream for the future that is too beautiful to keep in my heart. When I look at the present situation, I realize that my dream is possibly the light needed to dispel the degradation. Martin Luther King Jr. once said that faith is taking the first step, even when you don't see the whole staircase. Your words inspire me to dream beyond what I can see, and what I see is too terrible for anyone to witness or experience. When I ride on my school bus, the scene is disappointing. I see children walking by 3 or 4 liquor stores on their way to school. My dream is to have a state-mandated law stating that liquor stores could not be in a 5-mile radius of a school campus. School children should not have the fear or the temptation of what that type of environment brings. Dr. King, you of all people know the importance of an educated mind. Before the March on Washington or the bus boycott, you received a terrific education. My dream is that there will be less young men choosing a life of crime and more young men choosing a major in college. I have a dream today that there will be less young men in jail and more young men running businesses. I would like to tell these young men to stop blaming your circumstances on your parents, your situations, and your background. Your circumstances does not make you. Stop wasting your time in these clubhouses and pursue a law degree and fight for justice in the courthouses. Dr. King, I also have a dream for these young women. I see more half-clothed women than fully clothed women. Every time I turn on the internet or the television, I see these young women inspiring to be these so-called video vixens. My dream for these young ladies that they would not aspire to be in the next rap video or some baller's boo. My dream that our young ladies would aspire to be a woman of virtue, dignity, and self-respect. So on that same note, young men, young boys, pull up your pants. Young ladies, young girls, cover yourselves and learn how to dress for success. I see more hand-holding cigarettes and fewer hand-holding voting polls. I see homeless people in the street with no food to eat. I see children suffering through hopelessness and who are in terrible situations. I believe everyone deserves health care and great doctors. I dream that no more of God's children will go hungry or suffer dark, dreary nights wondering how things are going to turn out. Dr. King, you once said that I have the audacity to believe people everywhere cut out 3 meals a day for their body, their education, culture for their mind, dignity, equality, and freedom for their spirit. I completely agree wholeheartedly. I have a caring heart for all people. It hurts me to see other human beings living in boxes. But as you put it, now's the time to rise from the dark and desolate valley. My dream that there will be less young kids sitting on their couches watching reality television and more young kids in a book expanding their minds. Dr. King, you may be thinking how a 5th grader got such a heavy burden on her heart. Well, again, I have to quote from one of your speeches. All life is interrelated, tied in a single garment of destiny. I can never be what I ought to be until you are what you ought to be. As long as there are more minorities in jail, as long as there are liquor stores and drugs in the perimeter of our schools, as long as young ladies are using their bodies for advancement, as long as there is a single hungry child, I suffer. I can never reach my full potential because I need my fellow neighbors. Dr. King Jr. would say, I didn't march on Washington, spend nights in jail, arrange boycotts, get watered down with power water hoses, and growled at by police dogs to lose generation after generations. No, Dr. King, your work is not in vain, but we still have a long way to go. Difficult and painful as it is, we must walk on in the days ahead with audacious faith in the future. I can stand here today and say I support Dr. King's beliefs, the belief that segregated schools should end, that violence against minorities should end, that hatred and prejudice should end. Dr. King gave his life for these beliefs. I will not be lazy and uneducated. I will achieve the dream to be an outstanding in whatever I decide to do in life. Dr. King believed that we can overcome.